Good day. This is Maria Concepcion Balsita Mendoza, a faculty member of the College of Computer Science, DIMSU SLUC, Agoo, La Union. And today, our topic is all about getting input from user, particularly Java programming using BufferedReader. But before that, let's have first the commonly used classes in Java. So we have BufferedReader and Scanner. So our example for today is on BufferedReader class. So let's have first a short overview. So Java BufferedReader class is a class in java.io package used to read the text from a character-based input stream. It can be used to read data line by readLine method. It makes the performance fast. It inherits the reader class. It reads text from a character input stream, buffering characters so as to provide for the efficient reading of characters, arrays, and lines. So we have here a table for the BufferedReader declaration. So for package, we have java.io. For the main method declaration, we have the usual method declaration, public static void main string args, with the presence of throws IO exception wherein it can handle errors. BufferedReader declaration, we have BufferedReader BR, wherein BR is the instance of BufferedReader and this can be renamed, is equal to new BufferedReader, new input stream reader system.in. Take note on the following punctuations or symbols that has been used. For sample input statement or reading values, we have int. So we have the following label here, system.out.print, enter number. The presence of the variable, whatever variable has been declared, is equal to integer.parseInt, parentheses, br.readLine, open and close parentheses, and close parentheses, semicolon. This is the input statements for full numbers. For double or for decimal numbers, same in integer, but in the input statement, we have the use of double.parseDouble. For string, we have br.readLine. So we also have here the following display statement on the use of the labels, on the use of the variables appended in the last part. The next one is the variable is being appended at first and the variable is appended in between the text. Next is the scanner class. So scanner class is a class in java.util package used for obtaining the input of the primitive types like int, double, and others, and type strings. It is the easiest way to read input in a Java program, though not very efficient if you want an input method for scenarios where time is a constraint like in competitive programming. So here are the table for scanner class. For package, unlike in BufferedReader, we use java.io, but in scanner, we have java.util. For main method declaration, is same public static void main with the presence of string args. Throws IO exception is not present here unlike in BufferedReader. For scanner declaration, the scanner class is space sc. So sc here is the instance of the scanner class and this can be renamed. Is equal to new scanner then system.in. For the sample input statement or reading values, if we will compare it to BufferedReader class, so we have for int the use of sc.nextInt. For double, sc.nextDouble. So the sc that we're referring here is the scanner, which is our reference. For string, sc or scanner.nextLine. And same is true display statement for the BufferedReader class. So now let's proceed to an example using BufferedReader class. So now let's proceed to a sample problem. So we have here the following problem. Create a program that asks the user to enter the length and width of a rectangle and display its area and perimeter. So the following formula for area, we have length times width, and for the perimeter, we have 2 times length plus 2 times width. So in identifying such problem, we have to identify first our input, the process, and the output. The user to enter the length and width, so therefore our input is the length and width. As for the process, our process is how are we going to compute the area and perimeter. So therefore, this would be our process. Then finally, for our output, it should display its area and perimeter. So the output is area and perimeter. So now let's proceed with the coding demonstration. So as we are through in declaring for a project or in creating for a project, now let's create new file or by simply clicking Ctrl N. We'll select for Java, and since we want to start from scratch, we will start with empty Java file. Click Next, and then let's have our class name. Our class name should be relevant to the function of our program. So our program is it will compute for the area and perimeter. So therefore, our class name would probably be area perimeter .java or area perimeter as it is. And then click Finish. So this is the coding area of our NetBeans. So we will start by importing the package of BufferedReader. So we have import java.io.*. So as mentioned earlier, the package of BufferedReader class is the java.io package. Next, let's have the class declaration. Public class. Our name is area perimeter. Then next, the declaration of our main method. Since this is BufferedReader, we will use the throws IO exception. And then next, the declaration of our BufferedReader. So it is suggested that you have to memorize the syntax or the different keywords in declaring for the BufferedReader class, since it is quite long. Since we are through with the class declaration, main method, and BufferedReader class, let's have now the different variables to be used in the program. So we have the presence of length and width. So take note, the possible input for this are numbers. So therefore, we will use integer. So the data type is int length and width. Another, next is the area and perimeter that will hold for the computed area and the computed perimeter. So, length and width are already declared. Same is true with area and perimeter. Since we are through declaring for the different variables needed in the program, let's proceed with the input statement. But before that, let's have first to display in entering the length. So enter length has been displayed to be able for the user to identify what should be entered. Next, let's have the input statement for the length. So length is equal to, since the length is declared as int, so our input statement here is integer.parseInt br.readline. So this would be our syntax. BR is the instance to our buffered reader. If in case we have renamed this one with, for example, X, so therefore your instance here should be also X. Okay. Next, let's have entering the width. So system.out.print. Same with the width, you are notifying the user to enter for the width, and its input statement similar with length, it is integer, so we have integer.parseInt br.readline. So we are through with our input. Now let's proceed with the process. So as you notice, it would be very easy on our part because the formula is displayed already. So area as declared already is equal to length times width. For the perimeter is equal to 2. So we will just do this one. 2 times length plus 2 times width. So this is our input. These are our process. And lastly, we will display for the area and perimeter. So we will use the syntax system.out.println area. So we will now append the result of the area. So the variable here is area. And lastly, system.out.println perimeter plus perimeter. Okay, so our program or our codes are finished already. So this is the end of our main method, and this is the end of our class. So let's try to run or to build our file. So go to run file or just press Shift F6. So we have the following. So we have enter length. So for the enter length that we're referring here is this one. And this one that is blinking in the cursor, that means you are prompted to enter for the length. So whatever will input here will be stored in variable length. For enter width, so this one, Then whatever will input here, it will stored in variable width. Okay. And it has been displayed or it has been computed for the value of area and perimeter. So that would be all for the examples on BufferedReader class.